Hey everyone, Chris here from Real Rideshare Stories. If you're new to the channel and you're looking for different things within the rideshare industry, whether it's updates to what's going on, news, tips and tricks for passengers and drivers, or what actually happens on real rideshare rides, start now by hitting that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. Also make sure to check the description below for other helpful information and tips. So normally I talk about Uber and Lyft, but today we're going to be talking about Ford. Yes, Ford, the auto manufacturing company, has filed a patent on an app that tells riders if the car smells bad. So this article comes from Car and Driver. I will leave a link in the description below if you want to read this more in detail. But as you see from the title of the headline, it says Ford patents app to check rideshare cars for bad smells before you get in. The solution to living with unpleasant odors and even allergens could be a car that measures how bad it is in that rideshare you just called. So I'm going to get into the smell in a little bit. There is some pretty good parts to this, and I'm going to talk about that first, and then we're going to get into the smell because Ford, I have something that you need to work on as well. All right, so it says the creative minds at Ford want to make ride sharing a more enjoyable experience, and they think that our noses play a large part in that. Good, Ford. Let's talk a little bit later about smells. The automaker patented a process that empowers a car to determine what odors exist in a car and adjust to accommodate passengers. A real working example of the patent is in the future, but technology that can detect odors does already exist, called an electronic nose. Now it says, imagine hailing a ride, either a taxi or other rideshare service like an Uber or Lyft, and getting in that car only to find that it smells like trash or worse. Remember, we got to keep it PG rated here. Or imagine the discomfort if you're confronted with something in the air that you're allergic to. Ford filed a patent that could be the solution to the problem. Now, I'm going to talk about the smell after. The part that I do actually like about this and do think it's actually a really cool idea is the allergen aspect to it. So I'm going to talk about that first, and then we're going to have a little bit fun with the smells. So yes, this patent was actually published on April 9th. So this is a real thing. And it says, for example, a user who stated that they have or are allergic to peanuts, let's say, the system could determine if the peanut allergen was present. If it was present and the amounts it could be harmful to the user, the rider would be transferred to a different vehicle. So I think that's actually a really cool idea because, yeah, there could be something in that car that could cause a person to have some severe allergic reaction or something that could be even worse besides having a reaction. So it is pretty interesting there, and I do like that, and I do think that is a really ingenious way of making it better or safer overall for people. But again, I'll talk about smells in just a minute. So this goes on talking about the flow chart of things, what it's going to look like. Again, if you want to check this out, read the article, then check the link in the description below. So it says, how does Ford intend to detect these smells? Well, it really doesn't go into detail, but it does talk about how it's going to use a lot of different sensors, and it's going to talk about how it's very close to the electric nose, which is used for cosmetic and in the food industry, and it uses chemical reactions to detect smells within a sample of a compound. So these reactions trigger pattern recognition that lets the device identify the odor, and only time will tell if Ford is able to improve the way our rides smell or allergy, because that's where I'm taking the positive side of this. But based on a few rideshares we have experienced, we can only say the problem is worth pursuing. Well, Car and Driver, I'm really glad you put that in there. Because yes, I will agree with you. There are some rides out there that smell pretty bad. There's a lot of people who may not take showers regularly, who may not clean their car regularly, and if you get into one of those cars, it can be a very unpleasant experience. But now let's flip it onto the passenger who gets into the car, because there are a lot of passengers that get into the car that smell like shit. Yes, again, there are a lot of passengers that come into the car that will smell pretty bad. And it's a very unfortunate thing because it does go both ways. So Ford, what are you going to be able to do to offer a rider who wants to get a ride to not smell like cat pee or not smell like poo-poo? waiting. But on a real note, like I said, I do think the allergen factor is a really good idea and a really ingenious way, as I had said before. But when it comes to the smell, it is on both sides. So what is going to happen there? Now, the other big question, though, is how much will something like this cost? Having these types of things in a vehicle, these sensors, are going to probably be pretty expensive. And is this going to increase the cost of a Ford, or is this going to be something that all cars will have to put in or have something in them? I don't know, but all I have to say is I'm not spending any more money for some sensors because somebody has a little bit of a smell issue. Now, here's the thing. I keep my car clean, and I also try to keep it odor proof, which means I try to err on the side of no smell whatsoever. So I try to keep it clean so it doesn't smell bad, but I also don't have any air fresheners in there. Or if I do spray something, if somebody bad smelling just got out, you give a little spray, you open the windows, and then you get that fresh smell back in. But it's erring on the side of caution, so it's not too perfumey as well either. Now, what are your thoughts on this? Please comment below. Let me know exactly what you think. That's the end of this video. Hope you guys got a good laugh. And yeah, we'll see what you have to say about that one. So make sure you subscribe and ring the bell for notifications so you'll be notified every time a new video is uploaded. And as always, never drink and drive. Always tip your drivers, your delivery drivers, and your shoppers. And we'll see you next time.